Good evening, this is Corporal Cretella with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast, and my computer's lagging. I think it kinda, I don't know, have some trouble with these 3v3s when I'm casting and uploading and recording. My computer is pretty good, can play just about anything, but has some trouble with all this stuff. Anyway, on the blue team, we have Koras as the Orc Mech Boy, little guy with a screw in his mouth. We have Codex, a great player, as the Ultramarines Force Commander. We have Kalzi4 as the Lord General. I don't have a great view of him. Right here, bolter in his hand, one-handed, Stormtrooper retinue. We have Dark Riku as the Warp Spider. Now has a mask or a helmet, whatever you want to call it. We have Floid as the Hive Tyrant, tanky dude, really astoundingly powerful, good weapons, doesn't get suppressed, walks through all that. And we have the Warlock from Illethor, a very interesting color scheme. This guy, fast, can either be a tanky melee hero or a disruptive spellcaster, depending how you kit him out. Anyway, so we have the Eldar at the bottom right here. This is not looking like a winning fight for the Warlock. He did run down here to get the power node, but it looks like he is going to get forced off. He's actually just shooting with his psychic energy. But his psychic energy does definitely not do enough range DPS to deal with 3 squads and a sentinel. Anyway, let's look at somewhere else. We do have the Warp Spider X-Bark just knocking the mech boy over. Both teleporting commanders facing off. They're actually, I mean, they're similar in that respect. They teleport, they do range damage. The mech boy has a few more shenanigans up his sleeve that people don't know about. I think the Warp Spider Exarch, not the most commonly played hero these days. I think he used to be played a lot. Probably better in 1v1 than he is in teams, because he doesn't do a lot of damage. He's not a very powerful commander, but he is definitely an annoying harassment commander. In 1v1, it can be really annoying when you're playing against a Warp Spider Exarch, and you can never seem to have control of your natural power because it's always getting decapped by the Warp Spider Exarch. Anyway, Guardians getting forced off, or Dire Avengers. I've been playing Eldar a little bit lately. It's actually kind of frustrating, especially against Orcs. Orcs definitely, these squads just do more range damage than with the big shooters. They should do more damage than the Dire Avengers. It's tricky. I especially don't really get how to play Eldar in teams. I do okay in one-on-one because I can just run around being kind of fighting like an Eldar, choosing my engagements wisely, and running whenever I see something that I would rather not fight. But in teams is a little more straightforward. It's kind of just a lot more straightforward fighting. In that sense, it's certainly more fun to watch, and maybe even more fun to play too. I used to do mostly one-on-one when I was playing retail, mostly doing ranked, but these days I mostly do 2-on-2 and 3v3. Since I play Elite Mod, it's all custom games, and people are always like 3v3 lobby up or 2v2 lobby up, so I mostly play that. We have, this is really bad for the this Term Against squad. Gotta die. Yeah, a little overextended from Floid, and then they got flanked by these Orcs, which do a ton of damage. Big shooters on both of Koras's shooter boys. Slugger boys, no upgrade, but they're at full health. Mech boy, in retreat. We do have Rangers right here. Good unit overall, but I don't know if they're as good in teams. And they're good against Space Marines, but right now they're up against too many of them. The Banshees get stomped. So Dark Riku has an interesting build, and he's pushed pretty far up ahead with 2 Dire Avengers. Neither one has the aspect. We also have 2 Ranger squads from him. Rangers, one with Pathfinder gear, the other one getting Pathfinder gear. Rangers can especially be really good against Space Marines. Although Riku is fighting against 1 Space Marine, since two squads of Rangers will one-shot. I'm pretty sure they will one-shot attack model, and they will also take out 2 models from the Scout squad, which will have to instantly retreat at that point, or at risk getting killed entirely. Dire Avengers right here. Unfortunately, Dire Avengers with no Exarch will definitely lose to fully upgraded shooter boys. Looks like we have an engagement going down right here. Assault Space Marines jumping in right alongside the Force Commander, but this does not look like it's a good engagement for the Space Marines. Maybe. It looks okay. Force Commander trying to chase down the Barb Strangler Warriors, but getting snared by that crippling poison. Assault Marines use their second jump to get on top of these Barb Strangler Warriors, which will need to get out so they do not get wiped. One goes down and explodes. Hormigants also in danger of dying, and they do go down. A lot of losses from Floid. Not kind of unfortunate. Kalzi4 is already T2. He did go a light, certainly. I'd say it's. I was about to say it's a light tier 1, but I mean he has 4 units. It's just it's an inexpensive tier 1, since he just has guardsmen and 2 sentinels. Not huge wreck purchases, not compared to like tactical marines and stuff like that. And he only got the ground pound on 1 of the sentinels. So Kalzi4 is the first person at tier 2. Looks like Koras is almost at tier 2. Everyone else is actually still pretty far away from it. This sentinel needs to get out before it dies. And this guardsman squad right here, on the side of the cover, on the side of the energy shield, so the Rangers were not protected from the guardsmen. Destructor goes off. Let's see, Illethor has upgraded to the Immolator Blade. I like this purchase against Imperial Guard, because you get both Immolate and Destructor, which is really good at forcing off guardsmen squads. We got a full retreat from the Eldar. That's Illethor stuff. And we have a big blob up here. Both Dark Riku's Eldar with Floyd's Tyranids coming in. Shot from the Barb Strangler Warrior goes off, suppressing that Slugger Boy squad. And the Slugger Boys just decide to retreat out of there. Hive Tyrant upgraded with the Warp Field. Interesting choice. I mean, it's obviously going to make the Hive Tyrant extremely tanky when he's already very tanky. And we're probably going to have a little bit of a Gen Bash going down right here. What he should probably do is Gen Bash with his ranged squads while he moves the Hive Tyrant up. And I think he's, well, I thought he was kind of doing that with the Warrior Brood, using the Warrior Brood to suppress. But I think he should actually push ahead with the Hive Tyrant so that he can keep them busy and possibly even force them off entirely. And then if they run in the building, then he brings up the Warrior Brood. But too late to take my suggestions. Assault Marines jump in, really threatening, probably going to wipe this Ranger squad. And it does. So a Ranger squad lost for Riku. Should have retreated out of there. He was kind of just running away. And the Hive Tyrant is just standing here decapping when there's so much fighting going on. Are we going to have some more units going down? It looks like this Dire Avenger squad will go down from Dark Riku. Will it? 2 health, 3 health, 2, 1. My god, this hero Dire Avenger just running like a track runner, still at 1 health. Wow, that's probably the luckiest retreat ever that anyone has ever gotten. He does at least have those aspect for his Dire Avengers, but unfortunately, I don't think Floyd's Hive Tyrant will be as lucky as Riku's Dire Avenger. That lone Dire Avenger. It's just like matrixing through all that stuff. Running. Wow, big grenades going off. I didn't even really see what happened, but it was on the screen, so you can see what happened. Sentinel goes down for who? That obviously for Kalzi. He's the only Imperial Guard player here right now. And my game is freezing. Guardsman going down, but we do have a Manticore Strike going down right here. Now the Manticore Strike, interesting. So the first shot from the Manticore actually doesn't do damage because the energy shield protects. But it does knock them out of the energy shield, and then as you can see, another rocket hit the Guardian Weapon Team or Shuriken Cannon. They did take about half damage, but they did not lose any models, which was kind of lucky. Howling Banshees chasing after Tax. That's what they pretty much what they do best. Wiping Tax is one of the. It's like their calling. It's what they do in this game. They wipe Tax. Anyway, 402 to 408. Feels like we've already had a lot of action, but the victory points are still up pretty high. We do have a Weird Boy out for Koras. Let's also check the war gear. Nothing from his mech boy. I know he likes to get the electric armor, so we'll see if he does that. He is getting a War Chuck. Codex has the Power Sword. He likes that too. Not many people get it, and he even got the Armor of Alacrity. Lord General with nothing. Fighting going down here. Blue team on the field mostly. Illethor with the Immolator. Hive Tyrant with the Warp Field, and then Warp Spider Exarch with absolutely nothing. Warp Spider will probably want to get something. Certainly with nothing, he's pretty bad in teams with just nothing. I mean, he could either get some of the stuff that improves his range damage, like the improved targeters, but he's going to go down. If he wants to go in melee, he should get the heavy blades. Does heavy melee, gives him a nice special attack. Do have a Melt-A-Bomb going down on that Falcon. This Falcon, certainly low on health, but at this point I think it's out of reach. Yeah, it's just out of reach, so that Falcon gets out of there by the skin of its teeth, if it had teeth. And this is bad for the Hormagaunts because they're getting roasted alive and shot by shotguns. This Hormagaun squad pretty close to dying. One model, 52 health. Computer lagging. And we have scouts infiltrating somewhere, but they can still be seen. And this Force Commander might go down. 98 health. I think he's fine, actually. Beamy Death Gun from the Mech Boy for something. I guess he wants that. For the Falcon, he could teleport right in here, and then he would have an angle on that Falcon. And he does. He does exactly what I told him to do. What I said, and he does get a shot off, but the Falcon does micro out of there. Wow. Big Manticore Strike. I don't know if that was a wipe squad or if it just took a ton of models. Floyd is getting hurt pretty badly in this game. And we've mostly had more map control from the blue team now. It seems like they've had this victory point more often. Looks like we might have a power bash going down. I think the Mech Boy, he's trying to use the Mech Boy to bash power, which, I mean, is not a terrible idea, but I think he should instead let the other units bash power and then use the comparative advantage of the Mech Boy to deal with AV. And now we have a huge cloaked flank right here. Dark Reapers, Rangers, and Dire Avengers with a flank. Unfortunately, that flank did not go quite as well as they had hoped. I think because it just wasn't enough range damage, especially not with the Dark Reapers targeting the Shooter Boys. I think probably the Dire Avengers should have ran in and gone for a grenade. While maybe also should have done a kinetic shot from the Ranger squad, but they may not have had enough health or enough energy, I mean. Red has actually captured the Blues' natural victory point. Illethor now with Warp Throw. I thought I saw him just do it. Big smite from this Librarian that just came out for Codex. We also have these Stormtroopers Assault Kit from Kalzi. A little... Alright. I like this color configuration, though. Looks really good. Warlock almost goes down. Gets out of there with 28 health. Manticore Strike? Or just a flare? No flare. It's got to be a Manticore Strike. That Manticore is so destructive and so good in teams. And Hormagaun's going down here. Floyd really just losing a lot in this game. And we do have Infestation, single Capillary Tower. Weird Boy in trouble, and so is the Shooter Squad right here. Gets really close to dying, but just managed to make it out of there. And this Termagant blob right here is now in a lot of trouble. Oh, and we did have... Wow. We had Tome of Time on the Force Commander chasing down this Zoanthrope along with the Assault Space Marines. Unfortunately, the Zoanthrope gets out of there. If you really want to chase down Zoanthropes, though, get a Power Fist. Just because it does so much damage in a single hit. Wow, and this Falcon at 1 HP, but has an energy shield. But it blows up from the Manticore shot. Wow. And, yeah. Oh, I thought that Mech Boy was going to go down, but you could have fooled me. And this War Truck needs to get out of here, as do these Tactical Marines. But that was quite a play. I've been zoomed in a little too much. Haven't been able to catch much action. Immolate going down on the Stormtroopers. Immolate really good against just about any Imperial Guard infantry unit, except for, of course, Ogrins. But we do have a Warp Throw. And not such a great Warp Throw. Gets them off the point, but he tried to combine it with a grenade, but the grenade missed entirely. And Dire Avengers, a little too much in the front. I think learning how to use Dire Avengers is actually one of the tricky things about playing Eldar, or learning how to play Guardians. which is what they've been for most of the game, but the principle is the same, just because they do pretty good damage. They do about the damage of attack squad, but they aren't as tanky as attack squad. At the same time, they do more damage than a guardsman squad, but they can't afford to lose models the way a guardsman squad would. They only have 5 models, and those models count for a bit more. So you really have to be able to, again, it's kind of an Eldar thing where it should be very indirect. I mean, sometimes people just spam 3 guardians and then just rush with them, and basically just with the sheer range damage they use them that way. But otherwise, using them can be kind of tricky, because you need to try to do it in some way that will get them to maximize their damage maximize their damage output while making sure they don't take much damage. And one way of doing that is, of course, effective use of energy shields. But I haven't seen that happen here. We have Assault Marines jumping in, a grenade going off against the Guardian Weapon Team. I think he's going to keep this Guardian Weapon Team in play just because he can. We have a lot of stuff going on. So much stuff. I don't even know what to focus on. But it looks like this is now kind of going in Red's favor. It's going in Red's favor up here, but Blue is pushing hard up here. Assault Marines... Oh, attacks get hit by a grenade. Take a little too much. That engagement ultimately does go in the blue team's favor thanks to the Manticore. This Manticore has been really good, but now it's getting hit by this Warp Spider, which is really bad, and it's going to go down, which is kind of sad. I think the Weird Boy should have done a Warp Vomit on it, which would have allowed to get the Manticore out and also let the Guardsman just focus it down. So, fortunately, that was kind of sad. Dark Riku says he got the Manticore. That also means he does have the Power Blades on his Warp Spider Exarch, which will also make him good against heroes. We do have a Brood Nest from Floid, healing and reinforcing units, but I think this offensive from the Orcs are going to push up and get the Brood Nest down. The Sentinel is still up and level 2. I've been talking a lot about how I think the missile launcher Sentinel is awesome. Red team kind of low on units. Riku has a D cannon, which is right here. Singularity about to go off. Let's see what happens. Alright. Not too much gets caught by that Singularity. He saw it coming and took care of it. We also have Knobs from Koras. Knobs, obviously an extremely good unit. Easily one of the best tier 3 units in the game. It is a super unit. And you can certainly make a case for the best. I'm not saying they are the best. I'm saying you could make a case for it just because they are that good. I think this Sentinel might die here. It is getting chased down. And they're literally getting backed into a wall. And now a grenade. A grenade and the Warp Throw. And this dude right here is just capturing while everybody else is fighting. Most of the units, I think, go inside that war truck. But something got wiped. A Slugger Boy squad from Koras got wiped. And then Red team is pushing back up. They did lose that Brood Nest. But Koras is now getting a second Knob squad. And if you haven't noticed, he has enough red to do 2 rocks. I mean, once he throws down one, he'll pretty much immediately have enough red for another. And we also have a Bane Blade, 3,500 hit points from Kalzi4. Now, the main cannon now shoots automatically instead of being an ability. Some people say it's worse, some people say it's better. Does less damage, but, I mean, now you can use it more often. Riku coming in, solo Warp Spider Exarch, level 3, actually, harassing these guardsmen. The top over here is definitely going back to the blue team, and with the bunker here, this could be a hold that's going to be really tough to break. Bunkers can be really tough to deal with. We do have now Seer Council from Illethor, definitely going to win quite handily against the Assault Space Marines, unless they get disrupted by their own Fire Prism. But the Fire Prism is also an extremely good unit. I actually heard that it's getting nerfed in the next patch, which in a way I'm kind of sad about. I actually love the Fire Prism because of how extremely good it is, although I don't actually play Eldar that much. So it's not like I'm just whining because something I use is going to get nerfed. I kind of like the Fire Prism the way it is. Codex over here also talks about how good the Fire Prism is. And we have a big hold up top that's going to be really tough to deal with, especially with a Baneblade, a bunker, and Koras having 2 knobs and 2 rocks ready. Well, 1 rock and then a second one pretty soon after. And with the red he would get from 2 rocks, he might even be able to do a 3rd. He should actually get ready to drop a rocks once they're blobbed up as much as they can. Floid over here does have a Venom Cannon Carnifex, just as a way of kind of dealing with that Baneblade, I suppose. Rocks should go down right here or something, just for the hell of it. Baneblade actually in a little bit of a trouble now with the Hive Tyrant right here. Has both the bonded exoskeleton and the Warfare wheel. Certainly going to make it very tanky. And this Baneblade is actually now in trouble. So are these. The offensive. I was talking about how hard this top is going to be to break, but the red team is pretty much doing it. And this Baneblade is pretty much going to go down. I think he made a mistake by putting it in the back here. Wow. And the whole defensive line was completely broken. I said it was going to be so hard to hold, and I was completely wrong. Warp throw on the knobs. But yeah, he made a bit of a mistake by putting his Baneblade upright in here in the left corner where it couldn't easily get out because it was blocked by the bunker. And obviously the bunker's no more as well. Venom Cannon Carnifex now in a little bit of trouble, getting chased down by knobs as well as the Mech Boy. The Mech Boy can teleport in, and he should do that. I hope he does that. Yeah, he does. And, I mean, this Carnifex looks like it's just about to get out of there alive. Maybe if the Mech Boy teleports in again... Oh, you know what? It's not gonna live. Mech Boy gets that last shot out there, and we had Veil of Time on the knobs. Good teamwork. The fuck, Void says. I don't know what he was so surprised about. It was just the Mech Boy teleporting. Fire Prism in a lot of danger right now. Gonna go down, I think. Wow, 11 health and really needs to move back. Please move it back so it does not get killed by a Sentinel. D-Cannon right here. What's it doing? Blue team low on the victory points, but they have managed to keep the top victory point even though they lost both the Baneblade and the bunker. Kalzi4 does have a new Manticore. Manticore just so great in teams. Weird Boy, and we have a great army from Koras. And there goes that rocks, and it completely misses everything. Sad to say, but I mean, he has enough red for a new one. He just needs to wait for it to cool down. Kind of a sad rocks. Needs to wait until they're. I guess they need to be like really blobbed up. Riku has a massive float, and he finally decides to get an avatar. Codex also has a massive float. Does have assault terminators. Could even. He might. I'm guessing maybe he wants to save up for range terminators or something. He doesn't have enough power for a land raider though. Maybe that's what he wants. He could even just put a tac squad out on the field. Oh, that would. But that would put his population at capacity, and then he wouldn't be able to get the Land Raider or the Terminators. So maybe I should stop talking, because maybe he knows what he's doing. Oh, that Mech Boy getting knocked down by 2 blasts from the Fire Prisms. And we're going to have another Manticore Strike going down right here. Manticore Strike actually misses most of the stuff, but we had a Weird Boy shot that hit some things. Weird Boy upgraded to the Warp Head? Is that really what it's called? I mean, I know what it does, but I'm just surprised that it's called Warp Head. I didn't know that. Mech Boy not in a good place. Weird Boy does pretty well against those Termagants and basically any infantry unit that has low HP models, and a lot of them. We have maybe a singularity going down here, or was that a warp throw? What was that? Something. Another Manticore Strike, almost wiping these Termagants. Big shots going off. Hive Tyrant, again, both bonded exoskeleton and the warp field. That is going to make him stupidly tanky. And then while he's pushing forward, the Tyranids are capturing the top victory point for the red team. Fight going on down here. Unfortunately, nothing quite to counter these assault Terminators. Banshee's coming now. They will do some pretty good damage to the assault Terminators, although they won't be able to last. And Banshees, I don't know why they aren't staying. I mean, they could just start doing some damage to this avatar. Looks like a swift movement went off from the Warlock. Force Commander went down. I don't know why he's not even bothering to engage the Avatar. He has the Terminators. Even if he just wants to keep them with hammers, they still will do pretty good damage against the Avatar, and the Avatar is quite overextended. So the Avatar is actually in a position where it may die. I mean, yes, it does use that disruption ability to force the Terminators off, but it still lost like a third of its health right there. And now it is path blocked, but not for very long. Koras is saying that 2 is top all the time. Codex wants a revive. And Floyd's just saying good. Codex, he actually used some of his money to get a Predator, which is not a bad choice. It does have extra armor, although it does not have a las cannon, which it might want to get, especially against Carnifexes. Floyd obviously lost one of his Carnifexes and is getting a new one. We have a slight calm before the fighting starts up again. Manticore Strike. Need to pay attention or that Fire Prism will go down. We have a Leman Russ with the Executioner Cannon. I actually like the Executioner Cannon, but I don't actually play Imperial Guard. But I mean, it's just like, it's a Plasma Cannon. Plasma Cannons are good. Area of Effect. Terminators moving up. Terminators, if they get some Veil of Time on them, they will really threaten that Fire Prism. And the Warlock right here has activated Providence, throwing off some Ethereal Slashes. A lot of action going down right here. And I think this Predator might go down, especially if it gets path blocked by the friendly Leman Russ. And if the Leman Russ presses up just a little bit, it might have been able to get that Fire Prism. But the Assault Marines jump in, they get a Melt-A-Bomb on the Fire Prism, and then it goes down in the corner right there. And then, let's see, Assault Space Marines go after the Warrior Brood, and they do get a Warrior Brood kill. Lots of Manticore Strikes going down. There's some fighting going on down here. And again, we have that invincible Hive Tyrant, and now these Terminators need to get out of there. They need to teleport because they don't have any more health. And this Hive Tyrant has actually been working wonders, because right now it can't even be damaged. And then even when it can be damaged, he can activate the Warp Field just to tank some of the damage, and even has 1,500 health, even without either the Invulnerability ability or the Warp Field, which is ridiculous. That's how astoundingly good this guy is. Alright, looks like the fighting is shifting down here. The front has shifted. We do have 2 Knob Squads. They can reasonably take on the Avatar. The only problem is that they are low on health. They are both low on health. And I think we should have... he should have engaged with one, let that ability come, and then have the other one rush in. We do have Shimmer Orbs from Dark Riku. Protects from all range damage. Basically, any range damage that hits the Shimmer Orb will not hit anyone inside it. Problem is that the Assault Space Marines just walked in, and the Warp Spider died. Oh, and the Mech Boy dies from all that anti-garrison from the grenades of these Dire Avengers. Carnifex up top. This bunker about to go down. 200 health. Look at how the top of it has been scorched and broken. Warp Fire going off. Possibly going to get a wipe on these Shooter Boys with the Seer Council, but the Seer Council does get suppressed. Librarian going after the Bright Lance, but gets ambushed by the Lictor Alpha, who jumps out of there. So let's take a look at the upgrades. That's actually not the Lictor Alpha, that's the Lictor. Lictor can obviously just jump. Let's look at the upgrades. Mech Boy can't tell because he's dead. Fully kitted out Force Commander, Power Sword, Armor of Alacrity, Teleporter Pack, Kalzi4, nothing. Still nothing. Wow. Warp Spider Exarch. I know he has the Shimmer Orb and the Heavy Blades. Again, we've seen this Hive Tyrant do a lot of stuff with the Crushing Claw, Bonded Exoskeleton. Hasn't been using the Warp Field as much, but not like he needs to. And then the Warlock. We have seen a bit of this, though, with Witchblade of Kurnos, Providence, and the Warp Throw. Let's go back to the fighting. Termagant's almost dead. I guess power armor races seem like they're actually pretty good in teams, because they aren't as hard to kill as most of the other regular infantry-based units. So and then they get levels, which makes them even tougher to kill. And then a lot of the power armor killers in the game, like Banshees, are not as good. Floyd just lost a ton of shit. He's only down to a Carnifex and a Zoanthrope and his Hive Tyrant. But, you know, he can still be quite a presence in the game, even just with those. Just because his Hive Tyrant has been one of the MVPs of the game. Zoanthrope is a great unit, and obviously Carnifex is really good too. But it is at half health. You might want to run it back to base, but he's obviously not going to do that. I think mainly because it's crunch time. Down to about 100 victory points for both teams, and every little bit counts. But, I mean, still, it would be bad if he loses that Carnifex. And especially now with 2 Knob Squads approaching it. We do have the Hive Tyrant just straight up capturing. We do have an Eldritch Storm going off. I think it's going to wipe this tank. Yes, it does. And it wipes quite a few other things, too. Floyd says, yeah. I don't know what he said yeah about. Floyd, Floyd also has his Lictor. I think maybe he lost a Lictor and just got another one. A lot of stuff. I think a lot of teams is also just unit preservation. Because teams, any team game, whether it's 2v2 or 3v3, it especially gets really, really difficult to do anything if you've lost a lot of your units and your opposing team has preserved their units, and they just have this massive blob, and you have like 2 or 3 units. Mech Boy in the building again, but shouldn't stay there, or he will get hit by this Carnifex. But the Carnifex getting threatened, and we now have a Rox. I don't know what that Rox was actually going for, but this Carnifex is almost done. I think the Force Commander could even chase it down. Yeah, and that Carnifex is done. It should be. Oh, it shot from the Predator. This Avatar almost done. VPs, Codex says. They need to pay attention to VPs. This might be the game for the blue team. Because they don't have their natural. Wait, they're getting their natural back, but they don't have this middle. And then they're gonna try to capture, but they're gonna get grenaded. And now a Tyranna formation. Oh, this is gonna be ugly. Wow, I don't even know what to say because there's so much going on the screen. My computer can barely handle it. Manticore is way far up. Should not be this far up because the Hive Tyrant will just walk up to it and kill it. And that is probably a dead Manticore. That was, I don't know, I have any idea. I have no idea why Kalzi did that. I think his Manticore is dead. It just has no support. I shouldn't even watch it. It's staying alive just because this is a repair bunker, but it's about to move away from the repair bunker, and this will probably be it for Kalzi4's Manticore. There it goes. Alright, blue team just barely managed to stay in the game. Let's see, Codex does have enough red for... He has enough red to do Terminators, and... He's enough red to do both Terminators and an orbital bombardment, and we have a huge... Oh my god! A huge Wailing Doom. It kills a lot of orcs. Wow! Koras just lost pretty much his entire army. Wow. Alright, red team is still up here though. So I think that's actually probably going to be a GG with the red just about to recapture this. We do have an orbital bombardment right there. Codex pulling out all the stops. He's in it to win it. And he could actually put a Terminator squad right there if he really wanted to. Problem is, these guys... Oh, and we have another global going down. What is it going to be this time? Just a creeping barrage from Kalzi. He does not have the units, or he does not have the red for a rocket run. But I think this is finally going to be the game for... No, not even yet. Oh my... But blue is really just trying to hang on here. And red is trying to get... Riku is trying to get the red victory point back. He needs to shotgun blast the... He needs a shotgun blast. Oh, and that's the game. You should have shotgun blasted the Warp Spider Exarch off. I don't know why you didn't do that. But that is the game. Pretty crazy game. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.